Pet Sematary is an epic zombie movie about a whole bunch of dead animals that come back to life and wreak gory havoc on their owners. At least it should have been. Instead, it's a movie about idiots that make a whole bunch of fuck-ups. Goddamn, they even spelled cemetery wrong. It's spelled C-E-M-I-T-A-R-Y, you stupid fucks. And it all starts when these geniuses move into a house next to a road that's busier than Times Square. Hey, it's Tasha Yar. So you left Star Trek for this? What an amazing career move. So Tasha lets her little kid Gage free to go get run over by Optimus Prime. But he's saved by Judd, who lives in the house over the road.
I live just across the road.
There's a path over there. Do you know where it goes?
Your fucking child nearly got turned into roadkill and you're making small talk about a path? At night, Lewis starts checking out the path too. He then goes over to see his new neighbor, Herman Monster.
You know that path your wife commented on?
Jesus fucking Christ, why is everyone so obsessed with this fucking path? Anyway, Herman Monster tells Lois that the path leads to a mysterious sounding pet cemetery. You see, my dear viewer, because they live next door to Times Square, the trucks kill all the kids' pets, so they made a cemetery just for pets. No Jews allowed! So the next day they all go off down the path that they've been jizzing over.
We're coming!
I'll bet you are. Finally, they get to this cool looking pet cemetery. It's a sorrowful graveyard for broken-hearted children. Yet you literally don't see any other kids in the whole movie, which I always thought was kinda weird. The next morning, Lois goes to take Ellie's cat, Church, off to be castrated.
Well, the road is a lot more dangerous than any operation. We won't have to worry about him getting run over in the road by trucks.
So they're cutting the cat's nuts off to stop him from getting run over? What the fuck sort of logic is this? Yeah! Lois takes the cat to town and we see that somebody's been hit by a truck. There's a goddamn killer truck epidemic in this place. Gangs of trucks running over all the good townsfolk. The guy dies, but not before hocking a fat red loogie in the doc's face. At night, Lois tries to get to sleep, but he can't, because the goddamn cricket sound effects is turned up too loud. The dead guy, Pascal, appears to Lois as a ghost. Pascal says that he wants to help Lewis because Lewis tried to help him. So Pascal takes him down the path to the pet cemetery and warns him not to go to the place where the dead walk, which is beyond this eerie blue glowing light. Lewis suddenly wakes up to find that he shat the bed, so an embarrassed Tasha takes the kids to her family's house for Thanksgiving, whilst Lewis stays at home to clean up his accident. He gets a call from Herman Monster telling him that his daughter's cat Church might be dead. And sure enough, the killer trucks have struck again, and Lewis finds Church stuck to the ground. Looks like that amazing castration plan didn't work out, fucking idiot. Yeah! Herman then takes Lewis and the cat to the pet cemetery, but he takes them up past where the eerie blue light was, and down a long and winding trail that leads to an old Indian burial ground. No Jews allowed! Lois digs the grave for his cat whilst Herman Monster chain smokes until nightfall. Wait, it took him all night to dig that shitty hole? Good job they didn't own an Irish wolfhound. The next morning, Lois finds Church alive again, so he goes round to Herman's to find out what the fuck's going on. Herman tells Lois a story about how his dog Spot died and came back to life when he buried it in the Indian burial ground. But it came back as a rabid hellhound. Jeez, and you thought it would be a good idea to bury more shit up there? Everyone comes home and Church is less Hello Kitty and more Hell Kitty. He's got mad glowing eyes that nobody seems to notice and scratches the fuck out of everyone. We also find out that Tasha Yar has a backstory where her sister died of meningitis. This is meningitis? Holy shit! But honestly, I'm more interested in the backstory behind this painting. What the fuck? So one day they all have a picnic and Optimus Prime is cruising the road again, when Gage chases after his kite and gets run over. I, for one, 100% blame the parents. They should have been looking after the kid rather than laughing and pissing around with Herman Monster. Plus, I don't want to see Optimus Prime go to jail. After Gage's death, Herman helps them all with the grieving process and offers priceless gems of wisdom like,
Take care, little girl. She needs you.
Well, fuck, I was gonna let her get run over by Megatron. Herman can see that Lois is tempted by the pet cemetery, so he warns Lois not to take Gage to the burial ground, and tells a cautionary tale of a local man who brought his son back to life up there. He came back an abomination! So Herman had to create an angry mob and burn his house down. Damn, you would have thought that Frankenstein would have been sworn off angry mobs for life. So they burn the whole house down to get to one person? Just drag him out and torch him like any reasonable angry mob would. Jesus Christ, who the hell is this guy? If he's not hellhounding everything in sight, he's burning your fucking house down. After all this commotion, Tasha and Ellie need a break, so they go off to spend some time with Tasha's parents, because her dad seems really chill.
You killer of children! Daddy!
Lois takes the opportunity to head to the regular cemetery and dig up Gage. Under the cover of broad daylight? Oh no, wait, he waits till dark. Meanwhile, Ellie gets a warning about what Lewis is doing from Pascal the friendly ghost. So Tasha takes everything Ellie says at face value and jumps on a plane back home. Pascal the friendly ghost travels with Tasha and helps her get back home, even possessing this car rental saleswoman. These parts feel like a completely different movie, like some buddy comedy about a sassy lawyer and her dead uncle that gets her out of all kinds of scrapes. Now where the hell is that movie? Lois meanwhile pet cemeteries Gage's body and then goes back home and falls asleep. You have a rest, buddy. You've done all the work so far. Your lazy ass dead son can find his own way home. Which he eventually does. Zombie Gage goes straight for his dad's scalpel and decides to pay a visit to Herman Munster. Between you and me, I've got a bad feeling about those slippers.
I brought you something.
Fucking hell, I know he's a zombie kid, but now you're just gonna stab the fuck out of him with a penknife? Sounds brutal to me. Gage, however, beats Old Man Monster to the punch when Church distracts him. How about that for a zombie double team? And that's why anything other than army boots is just hippie shit. Tasha eventually makes it back home by hitchhiking a lift from a trucker. Hey, what if this is the guy that ran over her son? Talk about awkward. Before she heads home, Gage creepily calls out to her from Herman's house, and she heads in to investigate. Between you and me, I've got a bad feeling about those stilettos. Chilling moans are heard upstairs, so she heads upstairs to check it out, and behind the bedroom door she's confronted by the twisted visage of her sister Zelda.
I'm going to twist your back like mine, so you'll never get out of bed again.
I don't know, it sounds pretty good to me. Zelda turns out to be Gage though, who's sort of doing this weird Clockwork Orange impersonation. Tasha runs to hug Gage, but he slices her up, off screen, so it sucks. In the morning, Lois gracefully gets out of bed. He then gets a call from his creepy ass son, and realizes that he'd gone done fucked up. He now needs a way to kill the pet cemeteries, so he heads outside to experiment on Church. Hey, at least let the poor kitty finish the damn steak. Satisfied that the pet cemetery abominations can be killed, he then heads inside Herman's house to confront Gage and find out what happened to Tasha. Armed with more of the drug that he gave Church, Lois heads upstairs and finds the body of Herman in the bedroom. He then heads back out into the hallway, but is surprised by his now dead wife. Creepy ass Gage then literally Superman dives on top of Lois. Gage gets in a few good slices before Lois throws him off. I usually hate kids in movies, but this little guy rocks. He's like a mini Michael Myers. Eventually though, Lois unfortunately ends Gage's murder spree and sticks him with a syringe, which causes him to act like me when I've had too much bourbon. Lois then burns the house down and carries off Tasha to get pet cemeteried. He figures that he waited too long with Gage, and that's why he came back all Michael Myers. Pascal, the annoying as fuck ghost, turns up again to warn him. What's this guy's deal? Why does he care what happens? Anyway, Lois doesn't listen and buries his wife, who soon comes back looking hotter than ever.
You wanted me?
Give me a kiss, baby! Pet Sematary is often referred to as one of the better Stephen King adaptations, which is one way of saying syphilis is one of the better STDs. The last 15 minutes are pretty cool, I guess, and there's the kick-ass Ramones song at the end, but honestly, I was more entertained by the crazy-ass sequel.
I brought you something. 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 I brought you something.